Did y'all see that IG model that was online crashing out about Future?
Bro, that's the biggest crash out I've seen this
She
week,
crashing
bro.
out hard.
Bro, say, I don't know you, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, gang. You a hater. You probably was sitting somewhere on your little tablet in jail, throwing the money with little baby, and next thing you know, you like, oh, nah, I don't like that.
We were to look it up. Hundreds, if not thousands of deaths over many, many years.
Origin in
Tokyo.
Baghdad.
No, I'm trying to go to Tokyo. Who's trying to go to
Tokyo.
Baghdad?
So, man, first off, how you doing, family, man? How your week been? What's been going on? Talk to me. Tell me what's been going on.
Amazing. It's just been amazing.
Been
shit.
amazing?
Working on the server, shit. Just living life, cuz. Working hell. You
For
know
sure.
what it is. You know what it is with me. Shit. How y'all been?
I've been good. I've been getting a few inquiries about some galleries, a few little exhibitions, maybe in Milan, maybe in Tokyo. So,
Hey,
you know, we taking MG Art World
That's what's
global.
up.
International.
For sure, for sure. Hey, yo, so y'all,
What
y'all
you
know
been
that-
up to?
So you know, they finna drop the new Friday movie, right?
Cause they been saying the same shit
Man,
for
I'm
like 6
telling you,
months. I done seen all kind of
the
2B
new
posts.
Friday and Grand Theft Auto 6 is
Yeah,
like
that's like the longer wait. Yeah,
unicorns. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
I
That's
mean,
like
they said the
final
original
boss.
cast. They're gonna have some new people. They're gonna have DC Young Fly.
That's what's up.
For sure.
Mike Epps was talking about it today, so I'm looking
That's
forward
what's
to it.
up.
I think it's gonna be really, really good.
Man, I think because like Friday movies are definitely like urban hood classic movies like Friday and a few others, but that one might be one of the top like urban
Yeah.
movies. Like
Yes, of
Q did
course.
some legendary
Of course.
shit with it, and he put so many people on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Through that, he
True.
put Cat on, he put Terry Crews on, he put a lot of people, even Chris Tucker. He would have. Nobody. I mean, Chris Tucker was popping in, but like Friday put him on. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, I'm glad to see it, man. So tell me this: who do y'all think is the funniest character in the Friday movies, and like why?
I mean, I have to say personally, like Cat Williams, like seeing him in that role
Yeah,
and
he
seeing him
was
like,
real.
I think it was super. Like for me personally. But then Day Day, it's like between him and Day Day.
So him and Day. What you think, cuz?
I see, like you say, the saga had plenty of great comedians run through that shit, right?
For sure. I mean, they had Bernie, the late Bernie Mac
Like,
in there.
okay,
They had the
so-
late our dude from the Waynes, the daddy.
Yeah.
Witherspoon,
Damn.
John Witherspoon. Like that, you know,
Witherspoon,
when they
yeah.
didn't pass, these are greats, legendary
Yeah.
comedians.
OGs.
If it was up to me on some shit, I had to give it to my boy Pinky.
Pinky.
Stunning. When he came in, he set the whole mood
Oh
off.
my!
Little motherfucker gonna try to rob me. Well, I'm gonna show you how we do it up here in Pinky's, nigga.
I wasn't trying to rob.
Shut up! Before I bust a cap up in your ass.
Trying to tell you, and he had them hoes. He had them hoes.
He had them hoes, he
so
did,
so
though.
he had to be one of my top
Pinky.
favorite ones. Then I had to say Bernie Mac, because Bernie Mac did kill it when he popped
Bernie
out.
Mac did kill it.
Yeah, Bernie Mac was
He
like
killed it. He
OG.
that little small little segment of what he had.
Yeah.
It topped off.
When he was running out of the house and he was like,
From the midget, that was the funniest thing.
Nah,
That
for
was the
me,
funniest thing.
definitely my man John Witherspoon. Witherspoon.
The
R.I.P.
daddy.
John Witherspoon. Yeah,
Pops,
for sure,
yeah.
for sure, man. Pops was the
For
man.
sure.
was the
He
shit.
was in all of them. He played his part to
Yeah.
the T. Especially when he was the damn dog catcher. He was like, I hit a dog, so I catch him, and I
hey, listen, I
something
went
like
to,
this.
when I was in LA, my homegirl Marche, her wife had like a comedy show and John Witherspoon's son was there. And I got to talk to him and it was like,
That's what's up.
Didn't they have
shortly
like
after he
the
passed away.
house or something? The original house
Yep,
that they shot that
yep.
there. He was back there.
We
Yeah.
rode by there.
Oh, for-
yeah, you
yeah.
could go.
It's
You could go
crazy.
by there. Yeah, you could go
you
take
can go
pictures
take
over there.
pictures and shit, yeah.
At the original house. Yeah.
But
I
think
saw
about
it.
like being the kid of like, you know, a OG legend like that. Like it's so, it's crazy. It's crazy.
That would
It's
be
crazy.
wild. That would
Nah,
be
for
wild.
sure.
I
He was
guarantee it kind of. Well, I hope it run in the blood in a such a way.
Oh,
'cause
he was funny as hell.
great-
His son was funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That whole showcase was
funny,
funny
yeah.
as hell. It was funny as hell. Yo, people. So it's gonna be OG cast, new people. I think they're just gonna literally like kick the door open with it because we've been waiting for
Yes,
a strong.
while.
I feel like SZA and Keke Palmer's movie, like has started like.
I didn't see that one. But this
Yeah,
was
I was
good.
gonna
though.
say.
I heard it was
yeah.
great. It's got really good ratings. I love black
what's up.
comedies. We need more of them.
That's
Nah, for
real.
real.
That's real.
Yeah.
Nah, you remember What happened to black sitcoms though? You remember back in the day, it was number straight. Like, well, they don't got those no more. You remember like all the black sitcoms,
UPN,
right? Like from Family Matters all the way up to like One on One and
all
the Parkers and like that was the culture back then. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That was it.
They gotta reignite the black sitcoms.
I feel like they tried that with Blackish. I didn't see it all the way through, but I heard wonderful things about it.
Like a lot of the times they try to do those like reunion type of things, like where they bring the show back for that little reunion, but it don't never really seem to.
And then some of the people even got bullied out over the years.
It's like you don't even see half the cast no more. It'd be weird. It'd be weird.
Did y'all see that IG model that was online crashing out about Future?
Bro, that's the biggest crash out I've seen this week, bro. Bro, I say, I don't know you, bro. I say, bro, like, Future, you know who she is.
You answered on the first ring.
I feel like he probably don't.
No, he knows because he answered on the first ring.
He probably forgot. He probably forgot. The link, he probably forgot, but she one of the ones.
And he did not forget. He didn't forget.
Future said he might listen to his past, but she seemed like she didn't get her.
Nah, she's upset. She probably got a fake one. That's probably why she called the phone.
No, she said literally that she was going to expose him.
And he said he was going to shut that page down.
Expose him how though? How she exposed him?
What are you doing?
I mean,
Expose him for treating hoes stupid. Like what we already like his whole image and everything.
I don't know. I mean, this is like get in line. Like how many women over the years come out and they say this about him? Like,
it's Future.
That's why I say that's Future.
Nobody expected any. Like if he came out and said, you know what, I'm finna get married and I'm finna settle down with all my kids, then we would be surprised. Future running through hoes and doing what he do, like that's not. No, I'm not.
But the fact that he gave her a backhanded compliment, like I don't know you, gorgeous, like maybe he really didn't know her.
He probably don't. He probably just don't remember. But I know for sure, whatever she talking about, he gonna get that pay.
Nah, he's trying to leave the window so he can slay again. He's trying to sneeze again.
But the fact that she crashed out like that,
he's sitting on the corner of that block. Like, look, I ain't finna spin right now.
It's almost
I will spin that block for sure.
The IG model crash out is like Lil Baby's baby mama. She got pregnant by some NBA player, and he told her in text like to get an abortion, and he didn't want it. And she said, well, you know, this is still happening. And today he was like, oh, he wanted to waive all his visitation, like he wants nothing to do
with no baby.
And he said in the text, he said, you're sick.
Well, who said that? Lil Baby?
This is
the basketball player, Lil
Baby's baby mama. Her name is Aisha. And so she got pregnant by an NBA player who is in a relationship with somebody else. And he said, I don't want the baby. Get an abortion.
God.
He said, and she was like, well, this is still happening. And he said, you're sick. Why would you have a baby with someone that doesn't want to have a baby with you? So they're like toasting her.
Because you got money, nigga.
But what's crazy is another one of his baby mamas chimed in and was like, yeah, he don't see his other son either. But my question to these women is like, okay, at what certain point do you say, hey, let me not like... Let me like wrap up. Like, what are y'all doing? This is crazy.
Man, they know what they be doing.
Yeah,
they gotta act heard out in the media, but they know what they be doing.
That's the trap. That's
crazy.
Trap. Like, yeah.
That's the thirst trap for it right there.
These hoes ain't dumb. Well, they
he know.
She had a master plan.
He knows she know what a bag get. They both know what a bag get. So she gonna chase with a bag.
But they don't realize that every time that they come out with these stories, it actually hurts the career of the player more than anything.
But wait,
so this bag that they're looking for, they're like,
didn't Lil Baby go to jail, or they was trying to lock him up, or something like that behind that shooting that happened at the music video? They was so apparently Lil Baby went to, I guess what they saying, like a rival 4PF neighborhood and shot his music video, and they ended up with a couple people getting shot out there. And I don't know if he got locked up because of it, but I know they was on the news talking about some like he's definitely.
He had a warrant.
They trying to connect him to, or they put a warrant out, or they definitely trying to connect him to the shooting. But I mean, do y'all think that that's fair though? Saying that like he just showed up, but they saying that like on some like Rico type stuff of like, okay, well this is a gang. Y'all knew y'all was beefing by you coming to this other gang territory. Then basically that's you inciting violence, so you should be held liable.
I don't think it's fair. I mean, these things played out weeks later.
Yeah, nah.
And also, if you're going to, get on the city of Atlanta.
That's true, too.
Like, don't just get on a performer. They've been trying to bring
that man down since they did that YSL case.
I think what Atlanta trying to do, they just trying to, trying to get on all the rappers, because I think they trying to stop, like, the rap label gang type.
But instead of going to the rappers, they got to go to the labels. Like, the labels is the ones putting the money behind it.
But when you think about it, like...
I mean, but the label just giving out the money. Yeah, I mean, the rappers is really the ones... They looking at the rappers because they like, okay, you doing the music, making it popular. You might not be out here doing crimes, but these people that you got up under you, so you can keep your image, so you can look like a gangster. They running around.
But the labels have a lot to do with it because everything has to be cleared through legal, no matter what it is.
I mean, of course, the labels do. But I'm just saying, like, as far as legal liability,
so hold on, wait. What you saying is like, Lil Baby went to a rival neighborhood and shot his music video just freely, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And in the commotion of him doing this, somebody got killed. In the commotion,
it happened. People are saying that it happened like weeks later. It was okay. So there was like someone that was in jail of the gang where he was, the neighborhood, and he put a hit on 2 of the boys.
So they say it's retaliation.
It's like
for doing. So they looking at this like a gang, like RICO type thing. Like these are 2 criminal organizations. So these acts of like, okay, well, this is you trying to go and stunt on a rival gang, so you want to hear shot a video and basically saying that the shooting, even though the shooting didn't happen at the same time, is retaliation for what you did.
Well, the sheriff is saying this, so it's coming from the sheriff of that area, and he's like, you knew better than to do this.
Okay, so the guy that's allegedly in jail, is he a part of 4PF?
No, he's a part of the rival.
The rival gang?
I think they're called like Goodfellas or something.
So the guys that got killed. Okay, so back to the guys that got killed, right? Mm-hmm. Are they a part of 4PF or
they're
the
like 12? They're like 13, 12, 13.
So these are just innocent people.
They were just they're just innocent boys that just happened to be in the video. Right. That's what I'm saying.
In the video.
Because they were in the video.
Basically. So what?
That was filmed in a rival place.
Okay, now back to what I was thinking, right? Okay, if the sheriffs and the whoever have this information, and they're automatically connecting the guy in jail to the hit, why the fuck are you sitting up here trying to put charges on another nigga just for shooting a video? I understand it's called in. I understand you can be like, oh, you excited it, or the boys was in your shit. Who cares, nigga? I can shoot a video any goddamn where as long as I got permission.
I mean, true, but you know, like, it's what they trying to do in Atlanta is they trying to clean their streets up. They trying to like change their image because
I'm telling you, they've been after this man. Ever since he did that documentary and said something about some shit with Thug, and then they came and got Thug. I believe that when they came and made that statement, that officer who came on TV and said something about, well, it's more gangs and stuff like that they're coming for a RICO case. That was what you were pinpointing to. And him just being a head figure in Atlanta, of course. I mean, same way they did with Thug. I mean, it's just gonna be a big ass waste.
Yeah, because another thing is too, like he's not with 4PF anymore.
Yeah,
like,
that's not.
He changed the whole name of his label.
That's what
and
I'm
stuff
saying.
now.
Like it seems to be targeted. It doesn't seem to make much sense.
Especially like if you see somebody actively trying to separate themselves and show you that, hey, I'm not a part of this. You know what I mean?
But at what point do we say, okay, let's stop going to the neighborhood and let's just go somewhere else?
I mean, but they hood rappers.
I was gonna say that pertains to the image, to everything that you're trying to do as well. Like,
but he doesn't see. I mean, I heard that allegedly he's not even selling out shows like he used to.
I feel like at a certain rappers. I heard that.
I feel like at a certain point you gotta diversify. Like you gotta get out the hood. Like we can't. It just can't be hood all the time. Like no growth came from that.
At the end of the day, when you make all of like your music and your genre about, like, it's all about jewelry, it's all about how many bitches you got, and it's all about talking about money. Eventually, there's going to become a ceiling on how much you can talk about. You know what I mean?
Your image can value it. You know what I'm saying?
So keep it for real with you. A lot of these rappers, I don't think they coming into the industry with a 10-year plan of like, oh, I think I'm still gonna be here 10 years. I think that they come in and they like, all right, I'm hot right now. This is my plan over the next couple of years, and probably already knowing eventually that they gonna fall off. Because unless you somebody like for instance Gunna, because he a little bit different. Like he make a different type of wave. He got a lot of white fans. Once you start getting a lot of like the white kids and stuff buying your music, like they gonna keep you alive.
But that's that's exactly what I'm saying. Why does he have more diverse fan base? Because he started doing collabs with like Nightmare and a lot of electronic and house DJs and like doing more Coachellas and doing more stuff. It's like the altitude is totally up to the artist in a way, like, unless they're in like a shitty deal. But like, you can say, hey, look, I don't want to film videos out here no more. Let's do an exotic. What was gonna do it? He was going to Bali. He was going to Jamaica. He was going to.
Man, you better start green screening. A little.
I mean, but like,
he was going different places.
Do y'all think a rapper like Lil Baby even got range for something like that?
He still got because he still has a lot of fans that are not just black, and he could definitely transition and move into a different direction.
I mean, do he really? I'm talking about just on a vocal. Like you listen to.
He don't have to be a lyricist.
You know what I mean?
He don't have to be a local. He don't have to sing.
As far as like some Atlanta rappers, they just are that Atlanta rappers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you don't really hear their name or nobody's really talking about them in another country. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody probably talking about
A$AP Rocky, great example. What did he do? He diversified.
Like move.
He started getting into high fashion.
Move around. I understand what she's saying too. Like okay, well. Once you get yourself out of that realm, then yeah, you can touch another ceiling. But these are Atlanta rappers. These are little niggas who came up just shooting dice. You see what I'm saying? That ain't nothing
to some
different.
people. They gangsta image, like for instance, like a Lil Durk, like a Lil Durk.
That every video that they shoot gonna be the same type.
He kept his gangsta image until he crashed completely out. I'm not saying that that's right. It make any type of sense or any, you know what I'm saying, but. That be their mentality. They like, I'm a gangster rapper. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't fuck with certain type of people. This my image. We got switches and shit around us. We not changing nothing like that. This is just what it is. We're gonna ride it.
See with Durk though. Whatever. See with Durk though, in a way though, it's like he based majority of his career off of just beefing and shit like that. When you talking about Lil Baby don't have industry beef. You don't really hear him beefing with nobody like that. So. You shouldn't really see every little video that Lil Baby coming out with shot on, Decatur or something.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
He's supposed to be beefing with Gunna, I guess. Which I mean, to me personally,
Gunna's not beefing with him.
To me personally,
that sounds weird.
Sounds like he's hating. Sounds like it. He sounds like he's hating because Gunna's album came out and did numbers as soon as he got out of jail. And how many people are checking for Lil Baby? If Gunna was to have a show right now, it probably would be close to sold out. How many people would be checking
for Gunna?
They don't want to see that shit.
Gunna
literally, if he listened to Thug, who also went. There's something about high fashion, y'all. I've seen this happen to so many times. Thug got on that high fashion train. He started wearing those designers. Now he's talking about the designers. Now he's in the show. Now he got a whole different group of audience of people. Now he has more range. Gunna did the same thing. Lil Baby, like, come out of the hood.
Them designers will put you in them dresses with them purses, though. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he ready for that.
I feel like, not all designers.
He hit the YSL with the 4PF purse.
Also, he started, Gunna did the video with, what's the girl's name? Jordan something? Isn't her name Jordan? I don't know, some girl, and it was like about baby Birkins. Oh, lovely. You know what I'm saying? Appealing to different fan bases.
Yeah, for real.
We can only be in the hood with AKs for so long.
Yeah.
But for how people to end up getting killed at a kids for one, yeah, to be killed at a neighborhood weeks later.
That's not his fault, though.
That ain't your fault. That ain't your fault. That ain't your fault.
And I mean, technically, as an artist, you should be able to shoot your video wherever you kind of want to. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he's not in no gangs or. I mean, I don't think so. I'm not really sure, but I mean, if you're looking at it just from but then I don't know too though.
I mean,
it's like,
who really out here beefing with a gang called the Goodfellas though?
If you know Atlanta though, you know that you going in places like I don't know. That's probably like a bad business move. That's not even a good look.
As soon as they told him, hey, this is where we're going. This is the location. No.
I mean,
no.
Like somebody could even be like, oh yeah, this the rival hood, the Goodfellas. You gonna look and be like, bro, let's go. We shooting our video regardless. It don't really matter. Like they don't sound too. You don't hear nothing about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like when do you hear that? Any other time? But now all of a sudden it's just his rival gang. But Lil Baby been a popping artist for how long? 4PF been a name for how long? So they just your rival gang that just came up just because these two boys got killed?
I think at this point, the Atlanta police...
And they from your neighborhood?
And I'm sure
they from the same rival neighborhood that you got... No,
yeah, he said he's from the kids are from the neighborhood.
This ain't got nothing to do with
I'm sure Lil Baby and his team feel terrible
because
really, he got kids
the dude that's in prison, I'm going to be honest with you, gang, you a hater. You probably was sitting somewhere on your little tablet in jail, Googled Lil Baby shit, seen that he was over there in your area, that your little homeboys was over there, and they over there throwing the money with Lil Baby, and next thing you know, you like, oh, no, I don't like that.
But at the same time, it's like, hey,
got your little banana
niggas is in jail. All they got is time.
Yeah, exactly.
All you got is time.
And they
you
prove
gotta
a
do something
point.
about
It's
that.
all on ego. Like he was trying to prove a point. That's why he
12,
killed those
13,
kids.
12,
Which is
13.
terrible.
What?
Man, that should whoop his ass.
Man, bro.
If he called
Shame on
it, that should whoop his ass.
Bro.
Bring back Shane.
And I think at this point, Atlanta police just trying to like cause as many problems as they can for these rappers because they don't want that image no more. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta, they trying to have like the Olympics come and big events and stuff. Like they got
And
a
how can
whole
they do that with
financial side to it, and like you said, raise property values. How you gonna do that if it's gangs and all these rappers and shit? Because that's basically what Atlanta's known for.
The legal people, those people are trying to get convictions. They're trying to
for real.
they're trying to climb up the ladder and whatever they can do to pull those people in. They will.
Sure. Did y'all see our boy Trumpito falling out with the Ukrainian president?
Bro, that shit was
Trump back on it again.
Trump went
JD
crazy.
Vance was mad
I was
disrespectful.
finna say Vance was the one though.
He was mad disrespectful. It seemed like
they
a
got in the
bullying.
White House and they end up treating it like it's a frat house. They like, nah, what you want, gang? Like,
He said,
bro,
why
what
don't you
wearing?
wear a suit?
Yeah,
but
what
at
you
the
wearing?
same time, though, like, yo, we have been giving a lot of money to the Ukraine,
said that.
and I understand they going through a war. I understand a lot of things going on with that, but it's like, yo, billions of dollars out to the Ukraine. It's like, I mean, hell, make them kiss the ring, I guess. I don't know. Shit, that's a lot of money.
He said he was being very, very disrespectful.
Because it's like, okay,
about how he treated.
if I'm missing something, I could be missing something. What is the Ukraine doing for America that has warranted so much of the aid? I mean, of course, we know they were saying that Joe Biden had his whole thing going on, which was probably the reason why so much money was getting funneled to them. But we ain't gonna go into that. But I mean, there's a lot of money that's been going that way. So, I mean, you don't want to be disrespecting another country president. That's why he gonna start World War III. But at the same time, I'm like,
nah, bro.
shit, you gonna recirculate that money somewhere else?
Nah, bro.
You know, I don't know.
Listen to what he said, gang. He put it all out there on the table. He basically told him, bro, you gonna respect us or you gonna get the fuck on. We ain't doing that.
Trump?
Yeah, Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Trump came at him crazy, and I'm like, bruh. Like,
This man is
he called Biden stupid. Like, I'm sitting there like, bro, this man is going berserk.
I mean, but at the same time though,
It's good
if you
for
gonna,
TV,
it's
right?
like you can't come.
JD Vance did too much.
You can't
He did
come.
way
You
too
can't
much.
be coming asking somebody for billions of dollars. It ain't like you pulled up on was like, bro, let me hold a 20. He like, nah, bro.
Hold on,
give
but
me,
wait,
give me some
Zelensky.
billions.
Hold on,
type thing.
Zelensky. I caught a little bit of shade at the end of his remark because Trump was like, "Look, I'm trying to do a ceasefire," and he said, "So are you saying you're gonna do a ceasefire?" And he's like, "Well, if my terms are met." You don't have no terms.
You ain't got no terms. You ain't got no choice. Like
The
if you
terms are
don't-
done. You
Man.
took all this money. Y'all are not doing well. Just give it back,
Man, I
or
said,
not give it back and just be done with it.
If okay,
for the sake of your
so
own citizens.
If you was president, what would you do? I want to know what both of y'all do. Because me personally, I'm gonna sit back and let it play out. And it could be wrong.
I think it like this.
But
Okay.
I'm gonna sit back home. I'm gonna sit back, see how it play out. Because at the end of the day, America, we going through our own shit right now. I gotta take care of my career first. Now I want to help y'all out. Y'all going through y'all thing. But at the end of the day, y'all been going to war for a minute now. It's been a couple years of this shit. If y'all not trying to get no consistent stop date on whatever it is going on, at some point I gotta turn around and look at my own country and we gotta get our shit together because hell, it's people over here in Detroit and California that's living in 3-story tent houses and stuff, and I'm looking like a lot of them billions of dollars could definitely go help on some of these streets and teach some of our kids how to get their educational level. I'm talking about, bro, they got kids out here in China at the same time while they building computers, they're loading rifles and they twirling the motherfuckers and shooting them all in synchronicity. And you go to any elementary school out here, anywhere in America, and half of these kids can't read. That's scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So at some point, I'm looking like maybe we should stop trying to fix everybody else's problems and fix our problems before America don't even be the place that has the resources to fix anybody else's problems. You know what I'm saying? That's personally me. But what y'all think?
Honestly, I feel like I thought the whole Ukraine thing was questionable a little bit, especially when I started seeing how much money they were getting and how little due diligence where that money was going. On X, I saw videos of like people in Ukraine like partying and like dancing, and the way that people were responding to it. And around that time, this was also around the time when that guy went into that grocery store in Buffalo and shot all those black people in the black neighborhood.
Wow.
There wasn't the same response, and that was in America on our. And then there were a lot of other things. There were like a lot of Asian hate crimes, a lot of other crimes in America that happened, and I didn't see that same response. So I kind of felt like it was very like one-sided. But if I would let it play out. But I also would be like, look, you got to stop this shit. Pull your troops out. Let's figure out a bigger situation, because it's been such a problem for our country. Like it's been a huge expense that we couldn't afford.
Right.
Fact.
I would say, like,
what would you do
if I was a president? I was going to talk about both ends, right? If I was the president of, our country, and saying what he said, I'll say the same shit, bro. You gotta chill. You either gotta stop doing what you're doing, because I can't keep funding you. I'm not gonna keep funding you. We're not gonna keep providing anything for you. Your military sucks. Y'all all, just messed up right now. But in his case too, as a president, you should understand what's being said to you. You see what I'm saying? Like, somebody's telling you, look, bro, we're watching the casualties. We're seeing that our resources aren't being provided, to y'all the way that y'all saying that it would be. So just cease fire, cut it out. And for him just to look and be like, no.
He didn't seem like he cared.
What though? It might not just be him with the ceasefire, because Putin on there like, no, I don't want to hear that shit. We're going to play it out. Putin ready to crash out.
I mean, but then if you see it that way and you already have an ally that's telling you like, look, bro, we can pull out of this.
That's true too.
You see what I'm saying? And we can help you pull out of this. Just go ahead.
There's supposed to be a level of diplomacy, and I feel like that was definitely lost at the press conference. Especially when Trump is in there. Especially when JD Vance started with his, I was like, bro, you got it. Like, it seemed, like in high school when you see the jocks, like, bullying somebody.
That's what it was.
He's like, where's your suit? Where's your suit? Speak up. Speak up. Like, first of all, y'all seem like y'all drank.
War one day.
Y'all hit that Maker's bottle before y'all came in here. Y'all showing y'all's ass.
I don't think our boy Zelensky was ready for the change in energy from dealing with Biden and that administration
who was half asleep,
to dealing with a Trump administration.
And his homeboys.
Nah, bro, you walking up into the man cave, the White House, they smoking cigars, and they like, look here, bro, I'm going through the numbers, and this look crazy, bro. Tell me what you talk about, bro. Matter of fact, sit up. Matter of fact, stand right there and dance right there for me right quick, since you want all this money. Now, it ain't right. Trump wilding, because Trump is wild. But at the same time...
But when have you ever seen that done before? Like, when have we ever publicly seen that done before? So it's like...
Diplomacy is such a big thing.
We needed that. Like, when I saw that, I was like, bro, that's something we needed. That.
Trump gonna start World War III.
Hey, look. I see it too, but at the same time, I see it too, but damn, bro, like that one right there. Did you hear
what he said today? He said that if it's a federal college and people protest at that college, he will make sure that the funding is gone. So usually at colleges,
you gonna cut your whole goddamn.
You could protest or do peaceful protests or
tuition gone.
All of it's done.
I don't think, but you know what though? In some ways, I agree with that, because you got all of these kids who have paid a substantial amount of money to go get extra education, so hopefully they can get a job, and then you end up in the middle of a protest that may or may not have anything to do about you. I don't think that a school is the right place for you to be protesting like certain things. I think there's a better way, because it's like everybody's not going to be in the middle of that, and for you to end up like stopping everything that's going on at a school and these people trying to learn and get shit done might not be the best way to go about doing it. It's like, you ever seen people protesting like they just break out in the middle of the highway and they're like, all right, we protesting, we stopping all the traffic, it's an ambulance back there 6-7 cars deep, and there's somebody dying in there, but they're like, nah, we gotta save the animals. We have to save the animals, but you can't do that at the expense of everybody else. I don't think that that's the right way or the smart way to go about that. You know what I mean?
But to cut the whole funding for...
That's crazy. I mean, no, the Fifth Amendment. When I was in college, we used to go and protest, but we weren't just like walking through people's classrooms. There was a place at UNC Charlotte, there was Belt Tower before they like tore it down, and that's where people would have protests. And I learned a lot from those protests. Like, I learned a lot about different issues and things that were happening. But
that's what I was cut the funding, like, that's what I was gonna say. Is it a way to like segregate it, like, separate?
And they're nonviolent protests.
The two, like, you have your protesters and all this other stuff. Is there a way that you can make something where they can go protest over there at the school if that's what they want. But the real, people who's here to learn.
But they're gonna make it like y'all gotta protest way over here.
Just go there.
But it doesn't matter.
Shit, they used to do that to us when we was slaves. Yeah. Go in the back, like you know what I'm saying. You better take them to the back, bro. Like, but the people who here to learn don't just take their funding away. You know what I'm saying? Because they did, just like you just said, they did probably pay a lot of money or pay a lot of price to get here. And just for you to be a president,
but you know what's so good about it is who is going to hurt
and
this
crazy. Sometimes people come to college campuses, if they're open campuses, and they don't even go there. They just come with their protests.
I used to go crazy. There just to do me too. I wasn't protesting, but I was fighting for my rights though.
I did the Women's March and marched through Uptown.
I think like protesting at courthouses, protesting at police stations, protesting at the place. So, but I guess if you protesting about your school, I guess you pop up out of school.
Peaceful, yeah. I mean, think about, one thing, a protest that I would like to see? I would like to see people protesting this is very controversial, but I'm just saying, protesting some of these fraternities and sororities. Because that boy at Southern, he died trying to pledge for Omega Psi-Phi. And they tried to cover it. Not only did they lie,
the hazing. Shit,
okay, so first they said that he collapsed. When really he was in a warehouse and somebody punched him in the chest and he passed out and he died.
Until he died?
One hit.
Happening.
So, sheesh. But think about people's mind frames. They're like, oh, unless you're in a fraternity and sorority, you shouldn't even talk about this. Excuse me, but this is not the first death. If we were to look it up, hundreds, if not thousands of deaths over many, many years.
But you know what they say? Sororities came from like secret societies and stuff. That's where all that like Greek lettering and hazing and all that stuff.
Could you imagine your kid? What if his parents didn't even know? Because most of the time, there's like a secret. All I know is any bitch that I knew in school that went through that shit was never a bitch I could fuck with again. Because her mind was just...
Shit like a cult.
They make you do crazy stuff.
For real.
Yeah, you gotta go
You gotta drop mass weight sometimes. Like, you can only eat onions or some weird shit. They want to fight. Like, the older heads want to fight sometimes. And, like, you have to be very submissive. There's lots of little chants.
That's weird.
There's a lady on YouTube who makes... The only video she makes is about surviving fraternities and sororities.
Have y'all ever heard of the Skull and Bones fraternity? And like the Yale and Harvard, that's the one that they say that like most of the presidents and stuff had to be a part of before you can go to a president, and they have to strip you butt naked.
But you don't hear of no deaths with that.
I mean, but a lot of people probably have died. They just don't hear about it. Because think about the people that this is like high society people. You don't hear about half the shit that they do. Man, half of the shit that these people do is not going to make it to the news, I don't think, anyway. Like, who would knew that they be going up there, what they call it, Bohemian Grove, and they be going up there praying to the owls and stuff like that. That's just not on the news.
Listen,
but they definitely be doing it, though.
My grandpa is in Omega Psi-Phi. He crossed in 1967. He had a whole room in one of his mountain houses. He had a whole room just for that, like a shrine. With all of that stuff.
That's crazy.
And when I was in school, they kept asking me, well, what do you want to pledge? What do you want to pledge? And I was like... Nothing. I don't want to do it.
A student.
No. I'm just trying to do that right.
Speaking of Trump, I was watching, they had Elon Musk was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I guess like a couple of days ago. And he was talking about, because apparently Trump has him over like economic waste or like what's been like the budget. Like he's been going like Doge.
Department of Government Efficiency.
Government efficiency. He's going through and making sure, see what's been going on with the money. He said that what's been going on in the U.S. is the biggest scam that has ever happened in human history, and trillions upon trillions of dollars can be proven to be missing from the U.S. government and economy and spending and been laundered.
For sure.
He said that it is the biggest cover-up money laundering scam that has ever been put together in human history. And that's what I'm saying. Okay, Trump is doing a lot of radical shit. Elon is doing a lot of radical shit. But a lot of this stuff is not all wrong. It's like we need somebody to go in there and do some radical shit and be like, what are y'all doing with the money? Where's everything going? How are we the greatest country, but everybody's starving?
Yeah, but to say,
you know what I mean?
to say like, oh, SNAP and oh, Medicaid and oh, let's cut off some of these programs. Like, I think that's crazy in the middle of massive layoffs, inflation.
I mean, but they still, but most people still getting it, right?
Yeah, but their bills up right now to get rid of it. Because a lot of people on the right see it as an expenditure that we don't need. They feel like the budget of SNAP programs, Medicaid programs, it's always...
I don't think that's right. I think that if you...
Social Security
with enough money that's being wasted through the government, I think that there's more than enough where people can still get their SNAP, unemployment, all the lower benefits that right-wing people might feel like people should or shouldn't get that much of, or should be harder to get. I think there's enough money out there that can be reallocated to where that can exist while we still move forward in a functioning society. While I think there are a lot of people who abuse those, but it's always going to be people who going to abuse.
And they put it on TikTok. You see the video of the girl with all the Cheetos bags and all.
But at the end of the day, I still think it's worse to have people who are extraordinarily rich to be taking millions and millions and millions of dollars out of the economy versus somebody who's already broke taking $500 a month out of the economy. Like, both are bad, but tell me which one is worse. Like, you got somebody who already have more money than they can spend. You know what I mean? And they sitting out here still stealing from the government, still doing whatever. You know what I mean?
Has barely nothing and just trying to survive.
Exactly. Like, that's a different type of greed. Like, when you got somebody who don't got anything, like, you know what I mean? You're going to have a lot of people who going to take advantage. But that's not what's damaging the economy. It's people who already got money, power, wealth, who don't want to let go and they just want more. I think that's been the biggest issue. So in a lot of ways, like, I'm glad Elon doing what he doing. I'm glad that they got a smart man, one of the richest people in the world, to at least look at the money and say, what's going on with it? A lot of the stuff I feel like that they trying to do probably ain't right. They wilding. But some of this stuff needed to happen. Like, we need to figure out what's going, because at the end of the day, this is not their money. It is our money.
It's taxpayer dollars.
All of that is taxpayer dollars. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
But
it's important to figure that out.
It's important to figure it out. But then I try to understand the ethos of Trump saying, oh, if you want to be a citizen of the U.S., you got to pay $5 million. Like, some of these people are women and children trying to get out of bad situations. Like, where did that come from?
I mean, but think about it like this. It's a lot of other countries, if you want to buy your citizenship, I mean, citizenship isn't a cheap thing.
It ain't $5 million.
Is a lot, but also it's not America. I mean, like, if you want to go to another country and you just want to buy your citizenship and you don't want to have to go through the long line and skip around a whole bunch of people.
Can we sell our citizenships since we already have them? Like, is that worth something?
Would you say yours? Would you say your
I don't want to
citizenship
be here. I don't want to be here. Like,
so for $5 million, you can't never come back to America. You selling?
I'm gone. Like, I'm gone.
I'm leaving.
I gotta go.
I just need to know more about the stipulations of this.
I'm selling. Because it's some places out here. You can go to Thailand and $5 million will last you the rest of your life.
What? That's what I'm saying. Like,
and if I do it and you do it at 10, you coming?
Bro, we gone.
I mean, if problems.
15.
RHN in Egypt.
RHN in Baghdad. RHN in Baghdad.
No, I'm trying to go to Tokyo. Who's trying to go to Baghdad?
Yeah, I'm out there with a child like, hey, my brother.
No, I will be in Tokyo.
G-Wagon in the desert with a left.
I can't do it, bro. I sell shit right now. Yes.
I hope that's not un-American, but really, let's be honest.
All right, man. Have y'all heard about the theory about chemtrails?
Chemtrails, yeah.
Y'all know what that is, right? That's like, you ever seen the planes that be flying up in the sky and they be having like the trails?
They've been doing it for the longest time.
Yo, I saw that the other day, like the other morning, like they were just everywhere.
So what's crazy is they finally coming out like with documents and people showing videos of being in planes, and they actually confirming it's not a conspiracy theory. Like, chemtrails is actually a real thing.
Cloud seeding.
Yeah, cloud seeding, weather modifications. But the theory is too that they're not only spraying stuff in the air to change the weather, but they also spraying stuff in the air that like does stuff to us chemically in a way of like people always say like they seem like people are getting dumber and you know, people like a lot of cancers and stuff like that, and like a lot of plants and things like that. You know, a lot of animals and stuff going extinct. There's a lot of things. Right, a lot of that stuff they're trying to say goes back to what they doing with the cloud seeding and stuff like that. I mean, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that
absolutely
it's just
believable? It's absolutely believable.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it with my own eyes the other day. Like, I just went out really early in the morning. The sky was clear, and then you just would see like I saw like maybe 4 or 5 planes.
See
and the trails were so long.
The biggest example of it that I can remember like recently of the trails would be like the Hurricane Helene situation. I remember the day before that hurricane happened, and I walked outside in the sky. It was probably like 50 of these lines everywhere.
And like in a checkerboard pattern, like
and
crossing
it was
over each other.
All over the place, right?
So this is a video that I took the other day, and you can see like the sky is literally clear, and then you'll just see like all these lines. So I wake up this morning and I'm like, what?
Yep, patterns just like those. Yep.
God,
yeah.
Like,
so they had already like.
And you know what's crazy? Like when back in the early 2000s when they first started talking, like people really started talking about like cloud seeding and like them spraying the stuff in the air. They kept saying like, oh, it's just jet stream.
It's jet stream exhaust. Right?
Jet stream exhaust. But it's like, okay, well, why some planes have it and why some don't? They're like, oh, well, it's because they went through a cloud or something like that. And it's like, nah.
Or because they were higher up and they needed more projectile, force to come out.
Yeah, I mean, the video that I took, that was 3 days ago. And now, just today, they're saying they're closing the schools and everything because there's a bad storm. With 50-degree winds.
So why do y'all...
happening tomorrow.
Do y'all think that they are trying to fix the weather because there's something going on and, like, it's not raining enough and they trying to... Because that's what they basically do in Dubai. Like, I think Dubai blew the lid off of like the cloud seeding thing because they came straight out with it. They was like, yeah, we do it all the time. We make it rain out here because you remember they had
and then
like,
it flooded.
They did it wrong and it like flooded the whole like Arab Emirates, Dubai. Like I remember they were showing videos and it was like downtown where the skyscrapers at, and it's like massive flooding and stuff like that.
I saw another thing in China. They had this, it looked literally like a machine off of Transformers.
Wow.
And there were like these lasers and they were like literally launching them up in the air. I feel like they're trying to fix the weather, but I also feel like they're trying to control it because how unpredictable are these storms? You remember that movie with the guy who was chasing the hurricanes? And it was called Geostorm or something? And it was all about like these like man-made storms. And I think growing up in Florida, you got used to storms, you got used to tornadoes, you got used to hurricanes, but the like catastrophic way that these storms are hitting now are totally different than like when I was a kid and seeing like hurricanes. Like, and then also the response. FEMA and all of these companies are supposed to be there for people. Like, look at what happened in our own backyard. Hurricane Helene. People, this is still not built up. It's still not what it was. And that was just only a few months ago. So I feel like there's a lot of question marks that I have about why does this keep happening?
And you know what's crazy too? Like,
and who does it benefit?
If like I said, the cloud seeding, the weather modification thing, like if that was like something that used to be a conspiracy theory and then it comes out to be true like years and years later, how many other things that are like, oh, you a conspiracy theorist for believing this that are already proven to be true? It's just that the declassified documents and things haven't come out to prove that stuff.
I think the closest one would be UFOs and UAPs. That's a big one because like they said for so long that people were crazy, and a lot of these people, well, if you can see them in the sky, then what about all these accounts of people getting abducted? We can't just say, oh no, that didn't happen because this happened.
Yeah, you can't.
And
it
tore people's lives apart.
Hundreds and thousands of people that they didn't see something and it's recorded, and then you be like, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, and then 20 years later, be like, Well, no, they actually do exist.
So do y'all think like 100 years in the future it's gonna be like the Men in Black, where it's just gonna be aliens and people just gonna be walking around and
I think they're already around us now.
They're gonna be like, well, it's 100 different races of aliens and they all live on Earth. I
think so. I think now like they're just trying to figure out how to like soft launch it to people. But I've always felt like even when I was a little kid living in Seattle, like I'd look at certain people and I'd be like, man, this person.
Yeah.
They don't look like a real person. Yeah. And then I started doing, like, I fell into a rabbit hole about how people, allegedly, these beings will live in places where there's not a lot of sunlight. Seattle gets a lot of sunlight, but it's also, like, 90% rain, clouds. So it's, like, a perfect place.
Yeah, if I was alien, I'd with my rain jacket on.
Because most people kind of look kind of out there. Not all, but, you know, it's like... I just remember one time I was on the bus and I looked at this man and I was like, that man is like not. And this was like
that
right
man
after,
is not
but
real.
I chalked it up to Men in Black. I chalked it up to Men in Black because that movie had just came out, so I was like, maybe I'm just tripping. But then, did you hear? Okay, this is kind of crazy, but did you hear about how Ariana Grande at the Oscars said that she had gone somewhere to get her memory erased?
What?
Yeah, she was talking. People are saying that it was just a joke. But she said that she had gone to this place and got her memories erased. Now, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is about this man that gets all his memories erased after being in a bad relationship. But what that brings me to is, you remember in Men in Black when they would have those pins and just like kind of clear out like memories.
You know what's
like,
crazy? I was listening to something earlier on YouTube too. I think it was like a YouTube short or something. And he was talking about Mike Tyson. And it was like going back into like his history and like how he got started boxing. So apparently Mike Tyson got adopted by this white guy who was a boxing trainer. But he was also a hypnotist, apparently. Then this is what I just found this out. And apparently when he started training Mike to fight, he was also hypnotizing Mike Tyson at the same time. Basically like hypnotizing him, telling him like, you know, you don't have any fear, like you know what I'm saying? You just a shell, you just a machine, basically. And that's what put Mike in that mind state of why he is the way he is. And now, if you go and you like listen to him on podcasts and things, when he talk about like when he get into that mode, it makes sense because he be like, I was listening to him, he was talking, I think he was talking to Joe Rogan, and he was like, and Joe asked him like, okay, well why, but this is before he fought, what's the guy, Logan Paul or Jake Paul, whichever Paul he fought.
One of the Pauls.
And he was asking him like, okay, would you ever fight again? And Mike was like, I would, but I'm scared. I'm scared because that's a different person. That's an animal. And he was like, I tear people apart. I eat a person face off. Like he bit Holyfield's ear off. Like that's,
I believe
you know what I'm saying? So now that makes sense. Like he hypnotized Mike Tyson and put him in a state of mind where he's just like an animal, and it made him like the greatest heavyweight champion in the world. So now I can believe that, yeah, you probably can go somewhere and get your memory erased. You probably can go somewhere and get hypnotized and all of this stuff.
Oh my God, a sales job I had, like they used to like, they didn't hypnotize us, but what we were taught and how we were trained felt like a form of hypnotization, and how you would just get on the phones and talk to somebody and just feel no fear and say all types of crazy shit.
Yeah,
damn.
Grant Cardone, Grant Cardone was really one of the first people to talk about that. Like it's like psychology. Once you really get into psychology, it's some crazy shit. And I feel like a lot of the time with like the weather modification and UFOs, they have trained us to think that people that think that way are weird and they're strange and they're nerds. But really, it seems like these are the people that really have been unlocking this information for years.
I know. That's
for years.
And that's what's crazy. It's like, man, if that's true, if you know the weather modification, chemtrails, it's like when they gonna come out with stuff like 9/11 and stuff like that, like them conspiracy theories that we know are probably true. It just hasn't been made mainstream enough yet to where everybody can come to a consensus and be like, yeah, they probably had something to do with this shit.
When I looked at Michael Moore's film about 9/11, it made me look at the entire thing completely differently. Michael Moore is a guy that has made a lot of very controversial documentaries.
Oh, I think I watched that too, and they talked about all type of stuff. They talked about the crew of people that they said came in and probably put dynamite on, because it was like days before the building exploded or the weeks before, they had some type of contracting team basically come into the building and they were working on and doing stuff to the building. So people are saying that that's when possibly bombs could have been planted into the building for it to implode like that. Mm-hmm. And then they was talking about the owner and the man who owned the building and how he took out like $1 trillion insurance on it. You know what I mean?
And the briefing, I think, is like the most like kind of crazy.
And Osama bin Laden and how he was connected to the Bushes, and like they were showing him with pictures with George Bush Sr. and all these different things.
I saw this conspiracy theory about 9/11 where they say that it wasn't an actual airplane that they flew into the building. It was a drone that they controlled.
Wait, which one? Into the World Trade Center or into the
World Trade Center? Yeah, the ones that hit the World Trade Center. They're saying that it wasn't an actual plane that they controlled that in it.
I mean, but then also they had the thing about when they was talking about the pilots and how they had like all these like 20, 30-year veteran pilots. Like, there's no way that anybody could have, like, because like when you flying in a plane, you have a set path. All of your machines are trying to get you to go on where you were supposed to be going.
Right.
So if you take it and you fly somewhere else, you basically freehand flying a damn plane in the air to nowhere. So to take it to a completely different destination and to fly directly into the building that you were intending to fly into,
that's what I say.
Is
from the very first plane that they say hit the building. They say that it was controlled, and then they say by the second one that happened, it came in a downward thing, and it looked like a ball at first. And they say that the news, since the news was reporting it worldwide, that they made that look like a plane, but it never was a plane that actually hit the thing.
I believe this was also before the age of heavy social media. So I feel like if that would have played out now, it would have been a totally different narrative storyline, because you have so many people, you have so many witnesses. And then the biggest thing about the documentary from Michael Moore, the victims or the survivors were talking about it. And also the long-term effects of like all the things in their lungs, you know what I'm saying? From like running from the building and like, you know, the kids, there was actually a daycare in that center, and all those kids died. So it's like, it's kind of crazy to think about like what they're not telling us. But then my other thing is like, not saying that people shouldn't know, but do you think people are ready for that? Do you think people are ready for that?
Some, like, planes have hit buildings since 9/11, but none have ever imploded. That
was a demolition type.
If you've ever seen a controlled demolition and watched a building implode upon itself,
breaks down
because it starts from the bottom and it goes up
and it breaks in on its frame. You know what I mean? You would think that a plane hitting a building would make the building fall over
and then
into something,
or just completely clear the top of it, like come in through the top, take the whole top up. But if we're talking about structurally sound steel,
that's what I was going to
bricks
mention.
And foundation,
they were
and
talking
rods,
about the
like,
steel that they made
crazy.
The building with. They were saying that the steel was it was impossible for the heat structure to heat it up that much in order to make it melt that much.
Yes.
And once you kind of looked at, you know, I went back and looked at numerous videos of that. It looks like a controlled demolition where it looks like you see it just busting.
You know what's crazy? When 9/11 first happened, I think 2001, right?
What grade was you in?
I
was in the 6th grade, I believe.
I was in the 5th grade.
I was like in the 5th or 6th grade.
6th grade.
I remember because I you know what's crazy? I still remember that day. That's,
me too.
Like that, I still remember. Like I didn't go to school. I was in the sleep because I was sick. I was in the bed and I was taking a nap. You know what I mean? And then I just remember my mom waking me up and she was like, "Oh, I think the world's coming to an end. Something's happened. What blase, whatever, it's crazy." And then this was after the first plane hit, and then I started watching the news. And then the second plane hit, and I remember after the second plane hit, there was like a big cloud of smoke that came out of the building. And I swear to you, I saw the biggest demon face.
You saw it?
Yes. I saw, and this was live on TV. This was before it ever came out, and it was like all the conspiracy theory videos. I saw it with my own eyes. I mean, it was on the TV.
Honestly, if you look at his shirt right here, the little mark that's on his shirt right there, it kind of looked like that.
Yeah, it definitely did.
I remember seeing it as a kid.
Wow.
It was like this big plume of smoke came out the building, and it had a giant because it had fire behind it, and you could see the devil's face.
I think we already
in the fire.
I saw
and
that
then I remember
somewhere.
years and years later, after YouTube came out, and I started getting into my conspiracy theory rabbit holes and stuff like that. And they would like break that video down. It was like, look at this face, look at this devil's face, whatever. And it was like, oh, people didn't like modify the video, but I'm like, nah, I remember seeing that
as a kid,
and not even understanding what I was seeing. I just thought it was strange because I remember telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, you see that right there? And she didn't catch it, but it always stuck with me.
Right.
And I was like, I believe that whole thing was some type of satanic ritual or sacrifice.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Especially with the timing, with that 2001 timeline of like the new millennium and the birth of technology, and now the NSA and the iPhones, and then watching it, like all of this stuff, like the security state of like, oh, now all the phones are tapped and now everything is connected, and like all this access that they have to us that they didn't, because back in the 90s, like there was no way to connect everybody like it is right now. Like people had their own paperwork, documents, everybody's using paper money, so everything is kind of spread out. There's no network. After 9/11 happens, you get the NSA and all the security stuff to where it's like, okay, well, now when you fly, you got to do certain things. Now we checking people's phones because we got to find the terrorists. So like a lot of these things came out of this. So
let me tell you something. I have to tell you something. I was living in Seattle when this happened. And February 28th of that same year, there was a crazy earthquake. And that earthquake was so damn bad that when you walked outside, you could see cracks in the ground. And then a few months later, we stayed because we were going to leave. 9/11 happened, but I remember on the news, they said the other plane hit before it even did. They reported, and my teacher chalked it up to the time difference because we were looking at CNN, which is based in Georgia. And she was like, oh, maybe there was just a time. But I remember thinking that was weird because I was like, how are they announcing it before it even happened? It didn't even happen yet. And the first one happened, and the second one.
That's why
they took us out of school. Our parents came to get us. It seemed the fact that kids were involved, the fact that all those people were there. But my question is why? Why? What was the catalyst to make that happen? And it was weapons of mass destruction. It was Bush he needed that to go in there and take all those resources.
You needed a reason.
He needed a reason. They needed a reason.
I mean, but then a lot of people chalk it up to the resources. Well, and of course, they do have a lot of oil over there, but America also has its own oil.
It wasn't about the oil. It was about the poppy seeds. It was about the poppy seeds.
That too, but
it was
also,
about the
do you guys not think that
which makes heroin, by the way.
This might have a like a religious undertone.
That's
to
what
it too,
I was going
because what it did was it allowed for the U.S. to have a reason to break into the Middle East in these like places to where God and like a lot of the start of civilization. So now a lot of people saying, okay, a lot of artifacts, a lot of information, a lot of stuff that's come up missing, a lot of resources and areas have been controlled. So I think that could have had a lot to do with it as well.
What I saw in it too, and what I saw as far as some of the conspiracy theory videos was this. It was 2 buildings that they destroyed, right? And after they destroyed the 2 buildings, they made it into one monument. So
World 01 or something.
It was just one big thing. So
the One World Trade Center.
Right. So that brought it into the theory of the New World Order,
and that was the because
the symbolism
all of this
to say
stuff,
the world needs to be one DNA formed thing. You
because
take 2 strands, make it into one.
Secret societies and all this stuff is based in magic, rituals, and sacrifice and all this stuff. And when you trying to, just what I've read and understood, when you doing this black magic type stuff, it requires energy and sacrifice and things that's why if you look into history, it's like the Mayans and all these people, they sacrifice ghosts, they sacrifice people. There's something to that. There's that release of energy.
And
there's that
numbers.
There's that exchange of I'm giving this in order to get something to happen. So what people, or what the conspiracy theory is that that was the sacrifice in order to set the stage for the new world. And that's why it's called the One World Trade, because
that's what it was.
You can definitely see.
And then
this is not the same. Like there's this world and there's the pre 9/11 world.
And
you know
then
what I mean?
if you look at it, like I've seen pictures of it before. I never actually been to it to see it up close, but from the pictures that I see, it looks like a light that just shoots up in the sky, like a portal or like a gateway to heaven, or however you would look at it. So when you think about spirituality or religions, things like that, and then you bring it back into that, you like, yeah, that totally was, a religion and spiritual attack on America.
I went to a conference and it was in that, like, there's a big building next to it, and it was in that building, and I just felt so uncomfortable the entire time. The vibe was just like,
it's weird.
It's weird.
You
weird. Can't like the streets. It's weird. It's a beautiful place, but it's just.
And I think it's sad because it's like so many people, so many families who never have like real justice for what has happened
or closure.
Closure. You know what I mean? Like there's the story, but you know what I mean. For people who really are looking for knowledge and really want to get to the bottom of the truth, the story's not that.
But I mean, but for the survivors though, it is survivors that have came out and talked about the experience, right? And in the experience, they say certain things like, well, the top of the building had already got hit, whatever. We're all trying to get out, but we heard explosions from the basement. Everything started exploding from underneath us. And
the firefighters. That's what the firefighters
and
saying.
Everybody was
and they was like, okay, well, because I remember they were showing body cam footage from some of the firefighters that went in there. And that's what they were saying to each other. They was like, "Oh, another bomb went off. Another bomb went off." You know what I mean?
There was pictures of people jumping out of the windows.
Yeah, that was on the news. It was on the news.
It was horrible.
That was crazy.
I think somebody survived. There was like a guy that said that he survived, and it was his. Listening to the people recount that is not only one of the most horrific things I think I've ever heard, but the fact that, like you just said, the closure. Wars and all these things, there's like a level of closure people get because they're like, oh, we're protecting our country, but it weaponized so many, and it also weaponized people and the way that they thought about Muslim people, Islamic people, because for a long time there were people, if you saw somebody with a turban or any type of hijab, it was like very much so a lot of racism behind that, and a lot of mosques that got burned and a lot of mosques that got shot up because people felt like they needed someone to blame. So one of the biggest things that they said with this new administration is that those files were coming out. A lot of other files were coming out too. But again, I don't know if, I feel like first give it to the victims and their families. Right. You see what I'm saying? Just out of respect for them. Don't know if the real world is ready for it. I want to see it. Because I already felt like it was some bullshit, but allegedly.
That's why you got to stay prayed up, man.
Got to stay prayed up. Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, I guess that's it for this week. Appreciate y'all for coming through. It's the Rockstar Hustle Network crew, and we are out.